More FM.
I don't know if I've ever been as excited about a guest on the show as I am right now. Mr. X Factor himself, Simon Cowell, said this about her.
I don't believe you're a human being. I actually don't, because you can't do that at 13.
Pop icon Britney Spears said this.
I think you're the definition of the X Factor. It was stunning.
And Mr. Music, L.A. Reid, described her with these words.
Now that's an unusual talent. That's rare talent. Real, bona fide, rare talent.
Talking about 14-year-old Rose Sonenclar. Yes, last year's runner-up in X Factor USA. A gal whose audition for X Factor has been described as the best audition in X Factor history.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new day, it's a new...
That audition, by the way, over 42 million views on YouTube.
And I'm feeling
And today, she is giving me the absolute privilege of giving her first New Zealand interview on the phone from America. Last year's X Factor USA runner-up, even though she should have won. 14-year-old Rose Sonenclar.
Hello.
Rose Sonenclar, hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very excited. That's how I am. I've got to say, before we talk about anything, I'm a huge fan of yours, so I really appreciate
Thank you so much.
Look, I've been going on about you since the first day I saw you, and I'm pretty much your biggest fan here in New Zealand, so really appreciate your time.
Sweet. Thank you.
Do you know anything at all about our country? I know we're a long way from where you are. Do you know anything at all about New Zealand?
I don't know much, but I'd love to.
Well, we'd love to see you here someday. You'd be very, very welcome anytime. Look, I want to chat about a few things, Carly. Obviously, X Factor's sort of 7 months ago now, and you've been up to all sorts of things since then. I'd love to chat about X Factor soon, but let's talk about a few things you've been up to recently. I know some pretty exciting stuff, like your first solo show not too long ago. How was that experience for you?
That was so fun. I'd never done a concert before, so it was a new experience for me, but it was something that I definitely want to continue to do because I really enjoy it.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be doing it for years. I'd love to ask you, what is a better feeling knowing that you're on sort of X Factor, having millions around the world watching you on the telly, or actually doing your own show where it's not millions, but, every person has come along to see you perform? What's the better feeling for you?
I think that X Factor it gave me a lot of confidence. Like it trained me on really how to not get nervous, because that is such a nerve-wracking situation, being on live television for that many people. And, once I do that, in my opinion, anything else is compared to that, it's just not even nerve-wracking, which is a good thing, because now I can go and perform concerts, and I feel so much more comfortable on stage after I have done X Factor, which is a really amazing thing. But yeah, X Factor is that's a whole nother level of nerves. It's a whole nother level, because it's literally the whole world is watching you live. So whatever you do in that 2-minute space you have is being watched by so many people.
For sure. Just talking about that show of yours recently, you unveiled to all your fans your debut song, your first original, Unforgettable, and well done on that. I have seen footage of you performing that. We haven't had a studio version of that yet, but fantastic. Big well done on that song. Loved it. Nice work.
Thank you so much.
When can we expect to get a release of that, a studio version of that?
I have recorded it. I was just in LA for a week, and I did record the final vocal on it. So that's a step in the right direction. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure when we're going to release it, because I have been working on a lot of other new stuff and new songs that I really like. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm not sure.
It will all happen in good time. I'm sure you've been singing from a very young age. I don't know if you remember. I'd love to ask you, your first ever time you sang in front of a crowd, can you remember that and what the song was? Can you remember the first time you sang to anybody and what that song was?
I think the first time was I did a class called Star Kids, and it was an acting, singing, and dancing class, and we would go to class for like a week or so, and then they would have a showcase, and like all the parents would come, and family and everything like that. So and then each kid would sing what, like, the song I guess they picked. I am not 100% sure what song it was. It was probably like a Kelly Clarkson song or something like that. Or Hillary Duff or something like that, because I was obsessed with them at the time. So, yeah, but that was probably the first thing I did.
Now, obviously, you're still young. You've got a lot of life and career in front of you. You're only 14, and you're still a schoolgirl, Carly. And I was thinking how you get on at school, and if you didn't have this amazing singing talent and this performing talent, what else would you like to do? Is there any subject you like a little bit more than most? What's your favourite subject at school?
Well, in school, I like English class and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd maybe be a writer, but I also really like baking.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. I like cooking and baking.
What's your favourite thing to bake?
I like baking cupcakes.
Nice. Something I did before we just touch back on X Factor. Something I do want to seriously talk to you about. This is the thing I love about you. At just your young age, Carly, you are using your influence in such positive ways already. And I know there's a charity that is very close to you and very special to you, and you work with very closely. Tell us about the Starlight Children's Foundation and the sort of work they do and the sort of work you do with them.
Yeah. That's a really important part of what I do. Like, they try to make the lives of sick children and their families just easier, as much better as they possibly can make that lifestyle. But like they'll have a bunch of fun events for them to go to, and they have an annual gala, and they'll take them to like a Broadway show, or they'll have a big Christmas party, and they'll do all this stuff just to kind of put events on their schedules so that, they have stuff to look forward to and people to meet and talk to, and just stuff like that kind of brightens their day. And they also, just for me, like being able to hang out with those kids and talk to them and their families, like that's the best part for me, because just being able to maintain those relationships is really important.
Just want to touch back on X Factor, Carly. You worked very closely, of course, with a pop superstar, Britney, which must have been an amazing experience. What was the biggest thing you learnt from her?
From Britney, she was just so humble and, humble but confident, but not like brag. She would never brag or anything or talk about herself. She was just really great, and I think that's something that I aspire to be like, is just somebody who, even in all of her success and achievements, as Britney Spears, still manages to be a very humble person, and she would have a lot to talk about. She's achieved a lot in her career, but the fact that she doesn't, and that she, really focuses on her artists that she's working with, that's really nice for me, and I think I kind of learned from that.
And we could just see how proud she was every week on the TV. We could see just the proud look in her eyes. That must have been really cool.
Yeah, it was nice that we kind of formed a relationship so that, from the beginning of the show, she saw me, but we didn't have a personal relationship. It wasn't like that, but towards the end of the show, since I was on her team, if I did well and if I got good comments, it was good for her.
Yeah.
So she kind of felt that the same thing as I was feeling at the time. Just really happy that I got good comments.
Actually, Carly, funny you just mentioned the judges' comments there. I want to do a quick wee fun game if you're up for it. I want to test your memory of your time on X Factor. So I've actually got some of those judges' comments from the show about you. And the thing with you, of course, there's not many bad comments. They're all pretty good comments. So I've got 3 comments here, but I'm going to let you know the comment, and I want you to try and rack your brain if you can remember who said the comment about you, Carly.
Oh, who said it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So comment number 1. Who said this about you? You know what I like about you is that a lot of girls your age can be quite annoying when they sing, but you're actually very cool. Who said that?
Simon Cowell.
Let's have a look.
You know what I like about you is that a lot of girls your age, they can actually be quite annoying when they're singers, but you're actually very cool.
You're exactly right. Well done. We've got 2 to go. Feeling good about this. Comment number 2. You're an absolute force of nature. I don't know where it comes from, but you're a force of nature.
I think L.A. Reid.
Here we go.
You are an absolute force of nature. I don't know how you do it. You are a force of nature.
Ah, look at that. 2 for 2. We're going for a hat trick here, Carly. Let's have a look at our third one. Who said, it doesn't make sense. I don't believe that's your voice. I feel like Celine Dion is here and she's hiding.
Oh, that's hard. I think maybe Demi.
Oh, good girl.
Honestly, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't believe that that's your voice. I feel like Celine Dion is here and she's hiding.
Nice work, Carly Rose Sonenclar. 3 from 3. Good work. We've got our very own X Factor final coming up here in New Zealand. Our first ever X Factor actually, and we're just about at the final stage. And,
really?
Yeah. So it's all very exciting for us here, and we've got a guy in there called Benny, who's actually from my hometown. So we're kind of rooting for Benny. He's in there. He's done really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I bet you've been asked this before from X Factor contestants possibly, but we would love to get some advice from you now for Benny, who's, he's in your spot in the final of X Factor here in New Zealand. What is your best advice you can give him for his attempt to become our X Factor winner here in New Zealand? What would you tell Benny?
Well, that's a very intense time, as I remember it, because actually you have to sing like a ton of songs. I don't know if this is the same, but for X Factor where I did it, like the finale, like we each had to sing like a ton of songs on the last day, and it was just like a lot to be thinking about, because on top of that you had to be thinking about, obviously in your mind was, who's going to win this?
Yeah.
After all this time, we're finally at this point in the game. And I think it's the best thing to do is just to kind of keep as calm as possible and realize that everything that happens is happening for a reason, and that if you have done your final performance, you've done everything you could and you gave everything you had. So now it's just, it's not in your hands anymore. So since it's not in your hands anymore, you have to just let it be, because there's nothing you can do.
You are such a wise wee girl for just 14, Carly. I think I believe Simon when he once said that you are actually an alien. Have we had that tested? Have we had that tested if you're a human being yet? I don't know, because you just...
I think so.
You amaze me. God, I've just got to say again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm a huge...
Thank you for having me.
Huge fan of yours, so thank you so much.
Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm Carly Rose Sonenclar, and I'm on air with my #1 New Zealand fan, Justin Evans, on More FM.
More FM